Hello, Professor Schaefer and anyone else who may be watching this. My name is Dylan Graytack, and today I'm going to be discussing the networking protocols involved with email. So, just to give you a quick rundown of what we're going to be covering today, I'm going to start off with the history of email, and then I'm going to dive into the different email clients, what they used to be, what they are now. I'll give you a little example of an email client, how it works. I'm sure every one of you have interacted with an email client, but I think it helps for the sake of the presentation. Then we'll dive into SMTP, which is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. The name kind of describes exactly what it does. It transfers mail. We'll then talk about the different email servers. There's 3 of them, SMTP, POP3, and IMAP. And then we're going to discuss the differences between POP3 and IMAP and the advantages and disadvantages of the two. So, moving forward to email client, to history of email, sorry. The first version of what we call email was invented in 1971 by a man named Ray Tomlinson. This version of email was the first application that could send mail between different hosts on ARPANET. And ARPANET it was basically the first version of Internet. It's short for Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. It was developed by the DoD, or I think funded by the DoD, and it was the first wide area network and one of the first networks to use TCP/IP protocol. It was much simpler than the Internet we know today, and the data on it could only be sent as text. So, email clients, you can see here on the right is a Gmail client. An email client is the program that you use to access your email, obviously. Every one of you guys have used this. If you're in this class, you have to have an email client. So the client, the modern clients have features like custom folders, filters, and search functions. Email clients were originally local programs on computers, but most have transitioned to being completely web-based. Original email clients were extremely simple and really only had the option of sending emails and reading emails. I'm going to give you a quick example of what they're like today, which, I mean, you already know what they're like today, but so here's my email. Hopefully there's nothing too silly on here. As you can see, I have 958 unreads. So there's a bunch of features here. I can search up anyone. Like it even brings up a guy I was emailing earlier, and my employer. So let's see. Let's do Blackboard. There we go, and it'll tell how this assignment is completely overdue. So sorry about that. But yeah, so there's a bunch more features, and I'm going to dive back into my email in a later slide to show you just the different IMAP features and POP3 features. So moving forward with Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So SMTP is a part of the application layer of the TCP/IP protocol. It uses a process called Store It Forward to move your email across networks. To the right, I have created a simplified model of the transfer process. When an email is sent, your email client, there on the top left, connects to the SMTP server on the top right. It sends the server your email address, the recipient's email address, and the messages that you want to send. That SMTP server then communicates with the DNS of the recipient's email to figure out the recipient's IP address. Once the IP is found, the email can be sent to the recipient's SMTP server, and the message is then forwarded to their POP3 or IMAP server. The POP3 and IMAP are used to send the email to the actual client of the recipient, and I'll talk more about them on future slides. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol was created to only transfer text. It is not capable of sending fonts or attachments. MIME, which stands for Multipurpose Internet Mail Extensions, was developed to send attachments in the form of plain text, which allowed SMTP to transfer them. So here are email servers. There are two main categories of email servers. It is the incoming mail servers and outgoing mail servers. The incoming mail servers are what is used to get the mail from the sender to the recipient's server. These servers utilize SMTP to send their message, and they're called SMTP servers. Outgoing mail servers are the servers used to store and send emails to the recipient's email client. Outgoing email servers utilize POP3, which is Post Office Protocol, or IMAP, which stands for Internet Message Access Protocol. And there on the right, you can see a little thing I made with some clip art. Top left is the sender's email client traveling to the SMTP server, because that's what they do. They receive from SMTP and send via SMTP. Then there is the example of POP3 and IMAP, which does the exact opposite of the SMTP server, and it sends data to an email client. So now I'll dive into the outgoing mail protocols, which are POP3 and IMAP. Starting out with POP3, POP3 is an abbreviation for Post Office Protocol 3. It receives mail from an SMTP server and holds it in the server until the user logs into their email client. POP3 does not save mail in the server, so once the user has opened their client on one device, then that email is downloaded to the device and is deleted from the server. This means that if you have multiple devices and you have already read it on one device and you open your email on a device at a later date, like 15 minutes later even, it will not load. So it won't say you have a new email because the email that was sent from POP3 is downloaded on the first device. I hope that makes sense. Over time, POP3 has been updated so that some servers can store email on the server temporarily. As you see on that picture to the right, on the bottom it has a little option, the remove from server after so many days. But originally POP3 was not developed to do this. This can be good if you just have one device and you don't want to view your email from multiple areas, but realistically in this day and age, I don't think that's a real option. So the other outgoing mail protocol is IMAP. And IMAP is a little bit different from POP3 because it's got a whole lot more features. IMAP saves the emails to the email server. So this gets rid of the issue of only having one device, because if you read the email on that one device, then you can, let's say you're on a library computer and you check your email. You can then check it on your phone 15 days later and it will still be there. Another thing that IMAP does differently is it supports multiple mailboxes on the server. This allows for the user to organize their email more effectively, and separate mailboxes are synced across devices. So let's say I can pull up my email, for example, here. So I have this built-in starred mailbox and snoozed and drafts, and so I can actually create more if I'd like. I have more down here, I know. No, I don't have more. But yeah, there's a spam mailbox. There's all these separate mailboxes. And I can add more on there and have custom sorting. Oh my gosh, that was an explosion outside the house. Okay, well that was a little scary. So yeah, I can sort this mail in different ways. And okay, yeah, sorry, that completely distracted me. So yeah, separate mailboxes. IMAP also allows for the email client to conduct searches on the emails saved on the server. As I showed you earlier on my email, you can search on there, so that's cool. Along with those features, IMAP standard includes mechanisms for the base standard or protocol to be extended, which means over time IMAP can get more features and can be further developed upon. That is why it is used much more than POP3, just because of all the amazing features. I'm going to pull up my email once again here. Yeah, sorry, that explosion kind of hit my whole fight or flight mode, so I totally lost my track of thought. So if you go into your settings on Gmail, there's this forwarding and POP/IMAP option. So I can add forwarding addresses. That doesn't matter. I'm not talking about that. But yeah, so I can enable POP on my Gmail, and if I enable that, then it will download the email, and I won't be able to view it on other logins. So right now you can see IMAP is enabled, which I'm going to keep enabled because I like having the features, and it has a bunch of other settings here. So the folder size limit here, that's what I was talking about with the different mailboxes and sorting your email. Yeah. So hearing about how cool IMAP is, why would anyone use POP3? Well, IMAP does have all those advantages that I have listed on the left there, but it also carries some disadvantages listed here on the right. Implementing IMAP into software is very complex for developers. The complexity is caused from the protocol allowing concurrent access to the email mailbox by one or many client applications, which is, also the great thing about IMAP. It's like, yeah, you can be on it on your phone and your computer at the same time, and that's cool. But realistically, it is extremely hard to program that into your email client because, the Google developers have to make sure that it's loading the exact same thing at the exact same time, and that takes up a lot of resources and is really hard to program. IMAP also has a tendency to consume server resources because it saves every email. So yeah, it's really cool that my emails are going to stay on there forever, and I'm sure it doesn't help that I have 900 unread ones. But if I don't delete those emails, then they're going to be on the server and add up over time. So let's say 15 years down the line, I might cap out my my Gmail data cap. But realistically, these days in 2020, people are going to have enough storage on their server to hold emails for their lifetimes. I don't know. This might have been a problem back in the day where you only had 10 megabytes of storage on your email or on your server. But I don't see any reason for people to use POP3 because they don't have enough space these days. Unless they're just really crunching for space on their server. The last disadvantage on this list is the redundant message delivery between SMTP and a second time to the IMAP server to be stored. So it sends these messages twice, which is just not ideal. There's no reason to do it. Having these advantages and disadvantages laid out, I hope it gives you a better understanding of why someone would use POP3. Personally, I think it's a little out of date. I could see, if you're trying to hide your emails from your significant other or something, I guess it could be useful for that. But yeah, I have no idea why you would want your emails to not be synced up. So, in conclusion, thank you guys for listening to me blabber on about this. I hope you learned something. Here are my sources, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.